Howdy y'all, my name is Cole and it's such a blessing from the Lord to be back with you once again on Zone 26 Creative. And it's especially great to be speaking to those who supported the long-running game franchise Sonic the Hedgehog. Depending on if you've grown up all throughout the franchise or only grew up with a certain period of the continuity. Believe it or not, today is officially the 35th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog, and this video was released directly on it for such important purposes therein. This game has had a special place in gaming for this long. Because of this, many fans were thrilled to anticipate this day, this moment in time, where the series they've supported gets celebrating for coming this far, along with sparking nostalgia amongst many. Here, Sonic the Hedgehog means a lot to us individuals, not limited to just fans. And like many other fictional characters, whether it be from an animated series or video game franchise, they do have a strong influence on many of us. You don't have to be a hardcore gamer or binge watcher to even know this. Today, in this present age, he is known not only for being the fastest hedgehog alive, but also a symbol of freedom, running daily whenever in the mood, and also in no trouble to stop for chili dogs when he gets hungry, and has had an encyclopedia of adventures all in his memory. If you were in his shoes right now, you believe there's always new places to run around the planet. All you have to do is wait until Dr. Eggman comes back to set up his empire and wait and see what tricks he's got up his sleeves, and prepare yourself in case you get knocked unconscious, and there you have it! You're experiencing something new. And you know the world is in danger with a powerful entity that you can only defeat with the power of the Chaos Emeralds. You get all 7, you become Supersonic, and then you save the world again. Another thing to note, although you can already see lots of videos covering negative topics about not just Sonic but also the fan base, I promise you this won't. This will cover the positive aspects of everything. The individuals that enjoy Sonic, and especially his moral and most importantly, an inspiring message behind it. I, as a Christian, with no shame in openly acknowledging the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, spreading his word throughout the channel, and also serving him through multiple factors, also despite being imperfect like all individuals, and not to mention a disorder called autism, and where I can't speak like this unless I type what to state, I crave positivity. One of the last things I want to do on this channel, or anywhere on social media regardless, is to spread negativity throughout it. The reason being is that it does nothing but to attract the wrong kind of audience, and also suppress my creative freedom, to the point to where I can't post anything more than the same type of content. Thus, anyone else that decides to subscribe will just be here for more of that topic of content. Then, these subscribers might as well hope for the big plans in the future, to be nothing more than just an advance in video editing, and more time and effort put into them, and not to mention a higher definition of resolution. Overall, it would go back on my word on what I want this channel to consist within the next 2 years. And to top it all off, this wouldn't have been Zone 26 Creative at all. Speaking of which, one of my favorite verses in the Bible is Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. What it encourages us to do is rather dwell on these thoughts the verse mentions. All of them represent positivity. Thinking about anything mentioned in this verse may seem hard after hearing negativity everywhere, but nevertheless, this is a piece of God's word that I really want to hide in my heart. It says, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things." It doesn't matter how much positivity or negativity there is around any community at all. There are still people who genuinely enjoy Sonic for who he is, especially regardless of what games they have played, no matter how easy or hard it seems. Sure, maybe there was a rough transition to 3D, or a certain character is not what he or she usually was meant to be, such as Amy, Metal Sonic, Knuckles, Silver, you name it. Or maybe that one scene that you saw in the game Sonic 06 that still feels like an abomination to this day. But Sonic is still appreciated to this day, even though he is tough to enjoy sometimes. Even where we see people discussing or ranting about a certain part of the fanbase or anything negative about Sonic, none of this deters him at all. Even being present for a takeover, even despite one social media platform having a bad rap for all kinds of drama, wouldn't stop the fastest hedgehog alive. Although Sonic is a fictional character, if he was real today and was a Christian like the rest, Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8 would be his favorite verse outside of John 3:16. If he ever wanted to look at the fanbase, he would focus more on the positive side of the fanbase rather than the drama going on. Outside of any of the drama and negativity you find on social media, there are individuals all around who not only play the games they enjoy, but also enjoy listening to the amazing soundtrack of them also, and not to mention watch the many animated series, own merchandise, have collections of figures and plushies, and even are here to celebrate for how long this series has come to. There are also people who draw art, write fanfiction, write custom music tracks inspired by those available, and much more. One of the most creative things to ever do, even out of love for the series, is come up with an alternative universe of their own and structure it however they like. Whether it be with their own plushies, or figures, which is commonly used in stop-motion films, or whether it be in an indie comic series in homage or inspiration to the comics you've grown up with, or whether it be fully animated. The ones that are fully animated have not developed a full series or have only gone so far as a few episodes, but they have released hundreds of shorts spanning the length of a minute or two in that animation style. This is due to the time it takes being a daunting task for mainly one person, for not only the animation, but also the voice acting and music composition. Advancing technology in certain animation sites such as Blender might one day make it easier and faster for one person one day. Although I can't tell exactly when, but we are getting to that point. Some of you, despite comments being disabled, might ask, what about me? I have been introduced to its lore by watching the current trilogy of the cinematic universe, and then much later in the spring of 2025, Sonic X, which is, if not, the most emotional Sonic series one can ever see, but only in the English dub. As for the games, I haven't played many games leading up to this point. Despite wanting to include some gaming content, I have no intentions of being a hardcore gamer like the rest. But I have tried out some Sonic games. When I was still a kid, we had the Sega Genesis Classics for Xbox One, and it had the two classic Sonic games, the first and the second one. I, however, after trying both of these games, didn't complete these games entirely. One Christmas, a while back before the events of the pandemic, we've gotten the latest release of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, located in Tokyo, where the 2020 Olympics were held, and this game, I made it to the end, but not in the way a hardcore gamer would. This year, I decided to try out the latest game so far, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I've played it only a few times, only with up to 4 players each time. None of them were single player matches. I'm not a professional that wins first place nearly every time on Sonic Speed and also tears less experience down. Not winning first place all the time was something I did have to learn the hard way on Mario Kart. Aiming for first place can be very polarizing to many people, as this is the main objective for any competitive match. You can't always reach the top in every single match that you play. Even some of the most professional gamers that some may know across YouTube don't always get that position. If you always have a play-to-win mindset, it could annoy you at some point, and then it'll make the game not as fun to play at all, and thus, this will cause raging, to the point to where you might not want to play the game anymore, the short term being rage quitting. Although we went off topic, despite having a bunch of Sonic games for the Xbox, and courtesy of a friend of ours my brother met from a Christian summer camp, we've gotten a classic Nintendo Wii, which was backwards compatible with GameCube games. I myself am not a hardcore gamer, as much as I had plans on posting gaming content in a few videos on Minecraft. I, however, haven't beaten the Ender Dragon in survival mode. To summarize, although I have played a few Sonic games, I haven't played a lot of them as of right now. As for Sonic merchandise, you might ask, as of right now, it is only limited to one shirt. My siblings are more into that sort of stuff. They own a lot of plushies and Sonic figures, and every now and then, my sister tends to want to go figure hunting at every opportunity. Have I listened to the music from the franchise? Indeed I have. Only my brother searched them up, and has even developed his own playlist of bangers which consists of the lyrical tracks. Some of them so I can learn on a keyboard I have upstairs in my room. I even knew some of the best ones on the piano. Some that needed practice, and others I can bang out easily. If there's a song I have done so on, and I can for sure tell you that one of them is All of Me from Shadow 05. Fanworks, you might ask? It would indeed be nice to come up with one for Sonic in my imagination, but the fact that it would ever become a reality, I've been only working on this channel for roughly 5.5 months. With intermediate experience in video editing, I don't even know what my calling could be to explain the whole and with big plans for the future part of the logo. I don't have that much experience in the animation or computer programming to the point where I can at this time. If anything, even if I want to do it, I as a Christian sometimes have a hard time discerning what is God's calling or what I want to do. One of the best things about Sonic the Hedgehog positively is that it not only appeals to a wide audience of autistic people, but also Christian audiences too. Believe me, if I ever had the ability to run as fast as him today, and I guess I might as well have to forget about taking driver's ed this year. I can just run from point A to B without having to worry about the speed limit. If I ever wanted to go on a road trip to Alabama to visit my grandparents, I could run all the way there and be there in an hour. I would even want to go more than just Alabama. Even if nothing satisfies one person's or a group of people's needs perfectly, it doesn't block the path for the fact that he in general also symbolizes freedom, independence, liberty, and also living life with optimism at full swing. And I'm not saying he is perfect because not everything is perfect. I, as a Christian, do not claim myself or this channel to be perfect as well. It may be hard to imagine at first what it's like being wild at heart and free-spirited, but even I had to take a hint knowing that life isn't like the fictional universe, where everything is happy and evil gets confronted easily by heroes and everyone lives happily ever after, as it's only an imagination to know what it feels like. Freedom doesn't mean you can do whatever you want with no one to stop you, but it's more like being set free from something that holds you back or keeps you in one place. And even though we may have the sense of freedom inside us, the only thing left to talk about is none other than responsibility. Even being set free by Jesus Christ from the chains of sin still means that we have a responsibility. Freedom and responsibility work great together. While growing up with both of these things, it helps shape who you want to be or your desire, even if it is to live for Jesus. This also shapes the concept of the freedom to choose which is right, which is something that Sonic the Hedgehog has been doing all the time. This doesn't apply to Sonic, but also applies to all main characters given the purpose. I believe that the franchise Sonic the Hedgehog is a great example of that freedom. This includes the freedom to choose which is right. We can apply many people's examples in our life, but we can't exactly be like them, let alone live in a world exactly like that person. Any creativity only has the capability of inspiration, but not everything can grant a perfect life with sunshine and rainbows. Even if one person decides to invite Jesus into their hearts to set them free from sin, life won't get easier. The devil will try everything to distract you from the truth with the same tactics he has been using for thousands of years. The cares of this world, money, persecution, pretty much every trick in the book. But even the trust in Jesus through it all will be worth it once their life is over, and they'll enjoy eternal life in heaven. Also, ironically, I have autism too. And I do STEM a lot, and I also pace a lot too. I, like Sonic, have a craving for the same food over and over again, such as cheeseburgers, as long as they only have pills and grilled onions on it. But I'm not exactly like him. Like I said, no one can be exactly like a fictional character in how they are, but they can follow some examples of it. Jesus Christ is the true source of freedom, and salvation is not something that you have to work your way towards. I've been discussing this multiple times throughout this channel, that good works have not been and will not be what leads you to heaven, but it is more so accepting the gift of God. Jesus offers freedom from all kinds of negativity. This is especially not limited to negativity in general, and other factors such as fear, doubt, discouragement, being in pressure of expectations, especially from our fan base, shame, anxiety, depression, and even stuff that has happened in the past that are easily forgivable. Also, heaven is the most wonderful place your soul will ever want to dwell in, even with the fact that you'll live with him forever. The best part about heaven is the amazing fact that it's easy to access heaven, and the only way you have to take it is through Jesus Christ. There is no other way that points to God other than him and him alone. As far as walking with the Lord, it seems as though Sonic, or any other fictional character ironically, demonstrates the recommendations for everyone who has had a change of heart. Those who believe in Jesus Christ will have a desire to live for him. They'll even have a desire to spread the gospel in tons of creative ways so people can hear. They'll also want to stand up for what is right, forgive others as God forgives them, offering comfort in times of trouble, and most importantly, living life to the fullest. And in the midst of all this, he'll always keep going wherever the wind leads him. To put it in his language, no matter how slow or fast he is, what he is, or how he is, and even in the darkest of circumstances, he'll always speed on. To put it in our point of view, he'll keep moving forward no matter what the outcome is. The same goes for every single fictional character with a purpose. They don't dwell on the past forever, they keep moving forward. The Bible aligns this moral perfectly in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verses 26 and 27. I therefore so run, not as in certainty, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. But I keep under my body, and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. The moral assigned to Hedgehog is one of the greatest morals one can ever comprehend, and that moral is as simple as 3 words: keep moving forward. One final note, it doesn't matter how fast or slow you go, as long as you're in the right direction, keep moving forward. Well guys, that's a wrap for today's video. I hope that not only you have a blessed day, but also warm regards to the rest of the year for the franchise, and for the fan base, and for all the people on the planet. Sayonara, folks!